So how's it going, everybody? I'm listening to the Gleyber Torres story, Michael, and it just reminds me of, and then you said he's an untouchable. Remember when me, Jay Buhner, and Roberto Kelly were untouchables?
Well, under that regime you were, and then they changed regime and you were gone.
No,
Sid Thrift traded you.
No, I'm kidding. But, for everybody who is just falling in love with this kid, and they should, because I've watched enough games in spring training to see why. He was a principal prospect in Chapman trade. He played in A-ball, folks. Florida State League, Carolina League. He's 20 years old. Let him play. And I do believe this. And Bill Livesey, remember Bill Livesey, longtime scouting director for the Yankees?
Yep.
Mr. Steinbrenner's kind of guy for years. He had said that to me when in 1984 I was drafted. I played in Oneonta, which is basically a short season college league. The next year, the New York Yankees did away with Greensboro, which was in the South Atlantic League, and I went right from Oneonta to the Florida State League. It doesn't sound like much to folks out there that are watching professional baseball or minor league. They think it's no big deal. But as a high school kid, going from a month and a half in rookie to a full season A in Florida State League, which was all college kids, the bed. And I was awful. And then I had to go back to Oneonta. That was Buck Showalter's first year as a professional manager in Oneonta. We win the championship in 1985. Years later, I'm in the big leagues, 10, 12, 13 years, whatever it is, and I see Bill Livesey again. He goes, I knew you were going to fail. He didn't say it negatively and didn't say it meanly. I said, why? And he said, because you never got a chance to go through
what's happening? Is there an iguana there?
No. He said you never got a chance you never got a chance to pee your pants when everybody else is peeing their pants in preschool. You jumped over that level.
Right.
You peed your pants when you were in third or fourth grade because in doing so, everybody laughs at that kid as opposed to if you were in pre-K. It's a very crude, rudimentary way of explaining it, but I get it. I didn't go through the natural progression that was necessary. So what happens to a player? You force things. You stop believing in yourself. You're not as confident, etc. And now you fall back, and now it's like, am I good enough kind of thing. Leave Torres where he is. Let him go to Double-A. If he wants to finish up in Triple-A, fine. Let him see better pitchers. In A-ball, you face one or two quality arms that might make it to the big leagues. Everybody else, they're just there. They're NPs, non-prospect.
But, I agree with the Yankees doing this, but there are exceptions to every rule. Manny Machado came up at 19. Bryce Harper came up at 19. This kid did conquer Arizona Fall League players who are the best prospects in every team's organization, and he won the MVP hitting over 400. So if somebody's really special, Al, you also don't hold them down.
I would agree with that comment for sure, but I think then you look into where the Yankees are. They have Didi Gregorius. You know that this kid's going to be the future. This is a team that is going to be interesting. It's going to be competitive, but quite frankly, the Red Sox should be. Now, let's see what happens with David Price. They should be the premium team out of the East, in my opinion. The Indians will be easily the best team in the Central. The West is a little bit dicey. So the Yankees will compete possibly for a wild card team, and I think that's great. They went from not having that many top 100 prospects to having 7 of the top 100 prospects in baseball. Only the Atlanta Braves have that. The Chicago Cubs or the White Sox are doing a really good job right now by stocking the minor leagues. That's what it's about. I think what's exciting for me, Michael and Don, is to watch some of these kids as to who's going to emerge as the next core, whatever you want to put on it. And I think that's exciting as a heck if you're a Yankee fan. And you know what? If they're competitive and they compete all summer, bonus. But I think this is where they need it to be, and they got a nice boatload of prospects with Beltran and Miller, and now here Chapman's back for the very guy he got traded for. It's good stuff for the Yankees as far as I'm concerned.
And now, listen, I've been talking to a bunch of Yankee fans. They all want to win now. And I think what the Yankees have done is a miracle. And you follow other sports. Usually for a team to have these kind of prospects, they've had to have bottomed out at some point, like what Philadelphia is going through now, what the Mets went through a few years ago. The Yankees have all these prospects, and they still finished above 500 and still actually made the playoffs a couple of years ago. This is impossible, isn't it, to get this kind of wealth, this kind of youth, and not bottom out as an organization?
Well, it is, I wouldn't say impossible, Don, only because there's a handful of cities and franchises that can do it. And it really comes down to payroll. If you have the ability to have some depth, and certainly the Yankees can at $225 million, that is the big drop-off when you see a lot of franchises that can't do it. Teams that are good, but once that key player or two goes down, guess what? They're drawn from a pot of players that is like, it really drops off significantly. So, yes, I agree with you. I mean, for the fact of the Yankees to have been competitive, and it looks like they're trying to make the transition, Mariano retires and Jeter retires and the core four's gone, and, that whole dynasty era and who's going to be the next, and, you don't sign Cano, and, there's been that transition, no question about it. And for them to, as you say, Don, to be as competitive as they are, they still are able to have more than formidable players around them to support what looks like a team that can be anywhere from 78 to 88 wins. And, yeah, kudos to an organization from scouting, player development, right up to the big league club.